Good evening. I am very happy to come again to discuss on this channel. One good step is running for the last few weeks. Basically, we have been answering some questions by our viewers. In fact, one of the questions raised by our viewers this time was linked to what is called as abuse in childhood. Abuse doesn't only mean sexual abuse, it can be physical abuse, it could be physical neglect, it could be a very strict father who is very punitive, or a mother who is neglecting you in your early childhood. So they wanted to know, can this affect your psyche in future? So as a psychiatrist, I would take this opportunity in this particular time to talk more about this abuse. So in fact, I would like to concentrate on childhood abuse. So childhood abuse includes what is called as a psychological neglect, psychological maltreatment, then physical abuse, that is punishment, then of course the most dreaded sexual abuse. So all these are things which can affect the future of the child. What I mean to say is, when the child becomes an adult, the adult suffers a lot because of these childhood events. So these we come to know when we talk to the patients later on during therapies, later on in our consultation chamber. They come up with the things that have happened in their childhood. They feel bad about it. They were unable to tell this to anybody. So let me now come to what are the different types of abuse. The first one is what is called as the psychological neglect. Sometimes some children are neglected by their own parents or family members. It could be because of some biases. It could be a unplanned pregnancy and this child was born, or it was an undesired sex, or they feel that the color of the child, they are not happy. They may say the child is black or the child is not good looking, these sort of things, and parents or relatives start belittling the child, scolding the child, comparing the child. So this is what is called as a psychological neglect. Then there is this psychological maltreatment. They verbally scold the child. They do not allow it to play like other children. They, in front of others, they make fun of the child. So these are things which are called as psychological maltreatment. Then of course, this corporal punishment, hitting the child. Parents, sometimes what we have noticed is there is a tendency in our society to feel that punishment is required. I have seen many times comments in the social media which say that spare the rod and spoil the child, or they say because children were not hit in childhood, now they are taking the hits from police inspector. In other words, they feel children should be punished, disciplined in their early childhood, and later on they will become good citizens. So I have my own objections and I have my own observations as a psychiatrist. Let me tell you, any kind of physical punishment is not allowed. Even small children, hitting them, punishing them, pinching them, these sort of things, these sort of corporal punishments which occur in school, all this can have a lot of problems. The child can turn into a rebel, the child can become more aggressive, the child also becomes depressed in its adulthood. So I would say this physical punishment is never an answer for any problem. So I know many people may feel upset with what I say, but I am telling you, never punish the child. And I also appeal to teachers and parents, always if your child does some good thing, praise publicly, scold privately. Even if the child does something bad, there is no point scolding in front of everybody. This is happening in schools, this is happening in houses where people think that if they the talk to the child in front of everybody, the child will learn from its mistakes. This is not true. Please understand this. It affects the psyche of the child. It reduces their self-esteem. Now let me come to the most dreaded part, that is this childhood sexual abuse. Why are children abused? You will be surprised. In fact, research in India itself has shown as early as almost 10 years ago, 2013-14, our Women and Child Welfare Department of Government of India has come out with dreadful statistics which say almost 60% of our children are abused. Boys are abused more than girls. Known people abuse the children than unknown people. And it is this known people, figures in authority, then their own very close relatives, neighbors, then people who take them daily by vehicle. These are the people who can abuse these children. And many times the tragedy is the children do not even know that they are being sexually exploited, because they do not know till they come to 4th or 5th standard. We seldom talk about sexuality. So these children do not know that they are being abused. They bear all this. They cannot tell anybody. And later on, what they realize is when they grow up, they know what is this sexual abuse. They try to find out the more about the sexual abuse. When they complain to the parents get angry with them. Parents tell that you are simply cooking up stories. You have seen some TV serials and now you are telling all this. Because usually parents don't want to believe that some close relative or somebody who was very benevolent with the family was doing these sort of things. Please understand, if a child talks of sexual abuse, believe it. Never think that child is going to lie. Child, all over the world, the dictum is, we feel that child will never lie on these sort of things. This is something which is time tested. So please understand, if a child wants to talk to you about sexual abuse, if the child tells you that some uncle or some neighbor is abusing it, please believe it. Many times we tend to neglect it, and many times what happens is we tend to feel that nothing like that is happening. And if your child is telling that it doesn't want to mix with a particular person, please be aware of it, because this particular person may be abusing the child. Then there is another problem. Many times these abusers, what they do is they give these children very good gifts. So the children are carried away by this, and children don't tell you that they are being abused. So it becomes a challenge to actually judge these people, whom I call they are the predators. They are actually acting on these children who are very innocent and who don't know anything. So please understand this. And why am I bothered about all this? See, right from this psychological maltreatment, psychological neglect, childhood sexual abuse, all this can affect the adult. In fact, what we have seen is depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, poor marital relationship, substance abuse. These are certain things which are very common in people who have been abused in childhood. And many times, many people can't even express outside that they have been abused. And because whenever they have tried to talk about it, they have been told to be silent, or they have been told that they are lying. So these injuries of the mind are very difficult to be treated. So many times during sessions for depression, during sessions for anxiety disorder, we come to know the stories of guilt, sadness, being exploited by very close relatives. And many times these are the people who do not have very good marital relationship. They fight with the people. They always get angry with people. So these are the things which lead to lot of discord in future. So what I would like to tell you is, we need to look at the health of our children. We need to stop scolding these children. We need to stop hitting these children. We need to sit and discuss with these children. And of course, we need to watch out for people who abuse these children. So childhood sexual abuse is a reality. Please understand this. This has been occurring in and around us, and we need to be careful about it. So I think I'll stop here. Any questions, we are welcome to it. Thank you. Jai Hind.